Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and today we have a few new things to talk about in regards to console mods. Mainly, we're going to be talking about some of the mods that could potentially be coming in the first round of console mods, and we're also going to be talking about the potential size that the console mods will be moving forward once that actually drops as a feature. So without any further ado, let's jump into the video. So here we are yet again with another console mods update. Now, currently, we do not know an actual release date for console mods, but I personally would guess that we'll see them, if everything is actually going at the speed that it seems it is, we should see them a little while after Phase 2 drops. When I say a little while after Phase 2 drops, maybe a couple of weeks to a month after Phase 2 actually drops. However, we don't have a release date for Phase 2 yet, but presumably, Phase 2 should be right around the corner in terms of progress because the PTS, the public test server, again, is in version 10.3 right now, and all of the mod creators have been told to repack their maps and mods if they want them to work with the latest version of the game. So that is my current speculation in terms of where we are on the timeline, and now let's move into some of the details, the specific details of what we're going to be going over in this video. Now, one of the first things I wanted to talk about was a quick little conversation that was had in the SnowRunner Discord between a friend of mine, Frank the Tank, and Asorican, who is one of the developers, and he said, I got Southwest Dunes packed and uploaded, and he said, added 7 maps from you to console test plan. So, I'm not exactly sure what the console test plan is, but presumably these are maps that they are testing in order to be rolled out into that first drop of console mods once that update actually hits, and once that update actually, you know, makes its way out to the consoles themselves. Now, what this means is they are most likely developing a internal sort of, not necessarily roadmap, but basically they're going to have an internal list of console-approved mods, and it appears that especially for this first round, the mods will have to be heavily tested so that they can actually be approved for use on consoles once that update actually drops. But what's really cool about this is that basically means that these maps that we know of from Frank the Tank are most likely being internally tested on consoles with the early version, or who knows how far along that version is, but whatever the current version of console mods actually is, and that's very, very exciting. Now, I'm sure these aren't the only maps that are being tested behind the scenes right now as far as console approval goes, and what that means is that a lot of your favorite maps from some of the main mod creators could very well also be getting tested behind the scenes right now in terms of getting approved for consoles. We already know they've been testing trucks, like, for example, when we found out a little while back that they had been testing Zidon's Nissan Patrol on consoles as well. So there's a lot going on, I'm sure, and it really does seem like they're making a big push right now to actually get these into a state soon where they can be rolled out for that update when that update is ready. And it also really should put in perspective that I know that there's going to be people out there that are still going to be on the idea and of the perspective that until we have console mods in our hands, I'm not going to believe they exist. But genuinely, I believe deeply, deep down, that they do exist, they are being tested, and they are going to be rolled out fairly soon within the grand scheme of things. And again, I understand where you guys are coming from. You guys that are dedicated console players, I completely understand where you're coming from. I completely understand your frustration, and trust me, the wait will be worth it. Now, another very interesting detail, actually, is someone asked Asorican, will console mods be single-player only for now, or can we play with mods in multiplayer games? And he responded very simply, it will work the same as on PC, implying that mods on consoles will literally function in the exact same way. So the way it works on PC, if you go to use a mod in multiplayer, basically what happens is the mods that the host of that lobby has enabled will be automatically downloaded by everybody else that joins the session. So if you have those mods already, you won't have to download them, and if you do, they will be auto-downloaded so that you then can play with the mods that the host has enabled. Now, the only thing the only scenario that currently does not work for is when the host of the lobby is using a private mod. Now, when the host of the lobby is using a private mod, it won't automatically download to you, obviously, because it's a private mod and you have not been granted access to it through your mod.io account. But again, for public mods, which is what most people that I feel will be using, for public mods, you will join the host's lobby, and then whatever mods that they have that you don't will be automatically downloaded and enabled within your game so that you can seamlessly join and play with their mod setup. Now, this next point that we're going to talk about is a little bit more on the technical side, but I thought that it was definitely worth bringing up and talking about because it does answer a very interesting question. Now, basically, someone asked Sorokin, and he said, hello, a few modders added a PTS-only version of their mods that make the mods console-ready, as far as I can understand. All of these mods have a size increase of a ×4 or ×5 ratio. A vehicle mod currently sized at about 200 to 300 megabytes, basically minimum size of good quality vehicles, would then be around 1 gigabyte. And he said, I wanted to let you know that this is a, in his words, unacceptable size. Why would mods increase in size so much? Downloads and updates will take ages, and not even talking about the fact that disk sizes are not unlimited, blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's very, very wordy, but it brings into question the size of these mods based on things like hard drive space and internet connection issues. So basically, Sorokin responded and said, for now, mod size is increased because it will have 3 versions. So any mod that is console ready will be 3 times the size because it needs to have a PC, PS4, and Xbox One version. Now, that's a very odd detail that not a lot of people have talked about or brought to light. And first of all, I want to say that the person that brought it up, huge props to you for bringing it up, and I blanked your name out because I'm not sure, first of all, I'm not sure whether or not you're watching this video, and 2, I just wanted to respect your privacy by blanking out your name. Now, moving back into that discussion, it is a valid point. It is definitely a valid point because, you know, let's say you have a really slow internet connection, or let's say you don't have much hard drive space on your console. Will those, you know, increased mod sizes affect you? Sure they will. However, is that worth it in order to have console mods? I think it is. I think it's a worthwhile trade-off because even though we will have to deal with these increased file sizes, we will still have console mods by the time, you know, once all of this stuff is actually, like, the groundwork is laid and everything is worked out, we will have console mods in a working environment. The mod sizes will just be a little bit bigger than I think some people are used to, and you'll just have to be a little bit careful about how many you download at a time. Now, will this make it a little bit more frustrating potentially for people with slower internet connections? I mean, sure. I completely and 100% sympathize with the fact that it sucks having a slow connection. It really, really does. Because, trust me, I was there for many, many years. I had a terribly slow internet connection, and downloading mods for games or even downloading games themselves was usually a huge chore because I would have to set the download to start in the morning, and then I would have to go, you know, do whatever I did throughout the day, and then come back, you know, hours later and hope that whatever I had started downloading was finally downloaded. And never mind the fact that other members of your family would get annoyed with you because you were stealing all of the internet connection from them, but that's another point entirely. But regardless of that, basically what I'm saying here is that internet connection speed, yes, that is definitely an issue. However, I think it might just be something that we are going to have to live with when it comes to mods being available on consoles. And again, I'm really glad that he brought that up because it's something that is very, very, very much so worth talking about. Now, if you guys have any questions or concerns on any of the things we talked about in this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I'll be down there discussing all of this stuff with you guys, and I'm open to anything and everything that you guys want to talk about according to, you know, everything that we know up to this point. Now, I am, of course, very, very much looking forward to some kind of update in the future regarding release date or any kind of info we can get that will give us an idea of when these are coming, but you guys got to keep in mind, we don't even have a definite release date for Phase 2 yet, although I'm sure that's right around the corner. But the thing is that we also have to remember, usually when they drop an update for SnowRunner, they don't give you a release date until like a day beforehand or like 2 days beforehand, and they're not one to give super advanced notice of when something is coming out, so keep that in mind. And also keep in mind to not get discouraged when we haven't seen a release date yet, because, you know, I get it, a lot of other game developers will give out a release date for something, you know, weeks, even months sometimes before an update comes out. Whereas, again, with the SnowRunner guys, it definitely seems like they are more along the lines of, oh yeah, by the way, this update is dropping tomorrow. So don't lose hope that these updates are coming, because they absolutely 100% are. We're just gonna have to be patient with them, and, you know, keep those hopes up. And honestly, I'm really excited to see what happens next and what happens soon. And if you guys enjoyed this video, I'll hope to see you in the next one. Talk to you guys later.